Hi guys, it's me Ellie with AuDHD and Some. Welcome back. Today I'm joined by the amazing Virginia McConnell. Virginia is a relationship pattern coach, dating and relationship coach, and a narcissistic abuse recovery coach. What makes her work particularly unique is the combination of experience she brings alongside formal training and narcissistic abuse recovery. She's worked as a private investigator, an educator, a published photographer, and a professional model, giving her a fascinating perspective on human behavior, deception, relationships, and building confidence. Virginia helps people understand why they keep finding themselves in the same unhealthy relationships, patterns, how they recover from toxic and narcissistic relationships, how they learn to trust themselves again, and eventually build healthier relationships moving forward. Whether you've experienced toxic relationships yourself, or you struggle with people pleasing, masking, or trusting your own instincts, or you've ever wondered why the same relationships dynamics seem to repeat throughout your life, I think you're going to really get a lot from today's conversation. So, Virginia, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me, Ellie. I'm so excited.
You achieved so much. It was a long intro, and I've got dodgy lips at the moment, so I was trying to say every word, but I was really struggling. But well done, Virginia.
Thank you.
Your journey into this work is incredibly personal. Can you tell us what led you here? I guess we can start there if that's okay with you.
Yeah, so I guess what led me here, really it was in 2020, right before COVID hit. I was diagnosed with something called functional neurological disorder.
Hmm.
And when that happened, my main treatment was cognitive behavioral therapy. So I started out like a few times a week. Um, and then eventually, like over the year or two, I got from a few times a week going to therapy to like one time a month. So,
Yeah,
and then my episodes eventually started spreading out, and now here I am. I don't have those episodes anymore. So,
yeah,
but in that process, like going through the cognitive behavioral therapy, it forced me to really see what I had kind of been sitting with my whole life and not
yeah,
really realize. It like a lot of stuff gets taken out on your body, and
yeah,
my body was trying to tell me something.
yeah. What was it trying to tell you
It was
predominantly, do you
made
think?
like, "Sit down, shut up, and listen." Like,
Yeah,
you need to really focus on yourself. You need to understand, what's what's going on with you, why you keep attracting the same
the
thing
pattern, the
over.
pattern. Yeah,
Yes, and the toxic, like, I was in such a toxic marriage at the time, and,
yeah.
um, the relationship with my parents, I didn't realize how toxic that was, until I started really learning about myself.
And that was all due to CBT. Do you think if you hadn't gone to do the CBT, you wouldn't be at this point now? Or do you think that's really what triggered it?
I really do think so because I I did go to other therapies, but they didn't help like that really showed me what I needed to see, and then it
Yeah.
it led to me like reading books that were self-help and
Yeah.
like, Running on Empty is one that I read by Janice Webb, and oh my gosh, I love that
Yeah.
book so much. It
And I
really.
think sometimes you have to be in the right place to read them. So I read Women That, I don't know, everyone knows Women That Love Too Much. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's about women that repeat the same circles with narcissistic men. And I read that years and years ago, and it did nothing for me. But I read it when I was at the right time and the right place, and it made all the difference. So I think once you've gone through CBT or you're in that and you're in the right place to heal, then you read the books. It's definitely more helpful.
Oh, I totally agree. It's like you have to be ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah, literally. I wish everyone was ready for it right now, but unfortunately, it just happens when it happens.
Right, and sometimes you don't even know when that is. Like
Yeah.
it's so many mini steps to get to your through your healing journey, and
Yeah.
it's like one little baby step is like a huge deal.
Yeah, it is true. And it's a long journey. I mean, I think it took me like I'm 40 now and I've been repeating the same the same things for 20 years. It takes a long time. I've finished repeating the patterns now, but people are like, "Oh, when's this going to be over?" It can take a long time until we heal ourselves. So it's best to start soon.
Yeah, I agree. I'm at that 40 mark also, and
Yeah.
you
I
you
think
don't
I
wanna
know
lose any
myself.
time.
It's the first time I know myself. I feel good with myself now, but a couple of years ago I didn't. But I've done a lot of self work, so I think that that's really important. You often say people repeat the same relationship with a different face. Um, can you explain what you meant by that?
Yeah, so when we are growing up around, our caregivers, could be parents, could be, family members in general, people we grow up with, the experiences that we carry through, childhood and, um, in through your teens, whatever, your whole childhood. Um, what you go through during that time, whatever it is, it's normal to you.
Yeah.
So,
I always say this is why I ask about this because I always say the same thing. You recreate what you think is normal. So when I was a kid, I tried to recreate what my parents had because to me that was what was normal. That was what I knew, and everyone else wasn't normal that didn't have that. But what I didn't know is what my parents were like really wasn't normal. So I was trying to recreate something that was really unhealthy, and I carried on doing that for about 20 years. So I completely understand where you're coming from.
yes, exactly, exactly, and just seeing them and acknowledging it is like the absolute first thing you
Yeah.
have to do.
Yeah.
But
Why do you think intelligent and kind people sometimes end up in toxic relationships and over again?
well, I think that there's a few reasons. First, the familiarity, that's just normal, so that's how you just start and end up in that, and then
Yeah.
staying in that. I mean, that can be like a trauma bond situation. It can be, I mean, that's really I mean, basically, the full picture is what that's always going to pull you back. Your brain chemistry is changed.
Yeah.
Once you reach that point of entanglement with someone and codependency, like your brain chemistry is actually different.
Yeah.
And so to rewire that is really hard.
Yeah.
And so the trauma bond only reinforces that, you know,
I
how
have so many people asking me all the time, like, how do you break the trauma bond? How do you break the trauma bond? It seems to be, or like, I have a twin flame. Like, it seems to be a really prevalent thing.
yeah. Yeah.
I
Um,
I remember it well. It's so hard. I wish that I could I wish I could help everyone break this trauma bond. Is there anything that we can do to break the trauma bond other than work on ourselves? But I think sometimes to work on ourselves, we have to be in the right headspace as well, which sometimes means we can't be with that person.
right. And I think that for me personally, like I was completely in love with the person that I needed to leave and,
Yeah.
really needed to not be there. And what I kept telling myself is this is not the actual, like the person that I am in love with is not the person
It's
that
the idea of them.
yes, I love the idea of them.
Yeah.
It's not the person who's showing up
Yeah.
or really not showing up actually. Like,
Exactly. I have this phrase now that I'm like, if someone shows you who they are, you have to believe it because I am the sort of person that would always believe in the idea of someone or think I can help them become a better person or we can kind of fix it together. But I need to now believe, like I've believed for the last couple of years, I need to believe when someone shows you who they are, you have to believe it, Ellie.
right, and you cannot have hope. Like even if they say, "Oh yes, I'm working on myself." That might not even be true. So
Yeah.
you have to take it with a grain of salt like this person is never going to change and this is how they represent themselves. This is how they are. And
Yeah.
this is how they continue to be. So
I think it's when we're good people, we find it hard to believe that other people would do them like horrible things. So we're like, no, there must be a reason behind this, why this person is acting like this. Maybe they have trauma or they're broken. So we start to feel sorry for them because why would someone act so prick like when why would someone act like that? We wouldn't act like that, so therefore this person must have something deeper wrong with them. And I think that's always why I end up staying with people, or why I have in the past, is because I think, oh no, I need to help them. There must be emotionally damaged, because why would anyone else create that damage to someone else?
yeah, I actually had this conversation with someone recently, and it's so hard to get out of that pattern
Yeah,
when you have so much compassion for people and you're a very loving person and you want to see the best in everyone.
yeah,
And it's so hard to go against that in yourself, but that's part of building boundaries and learning boundaries and
yeah.
protecting yourself with those boundaries. And that was like really key for me, learning and keeping boundaries.
I think for all the ADHD people, the boundaries is, I think that's the reason why we keep attracting like narcissistic people or etc. is because we don't have as strong boundaries. Because, I know for myself, I've always been taught, I'm not really worth boundaries because I'm always getting something wrong, or, I'm never right, or I'm always doing something wrong. Then I feel like, okay, I'm not worth putting in the boundaries. So therefore, I'll let them do that to me because I should be really grateful that I have them. And I think I've spoke to a lot of people specifically with AuDHD recently, and that's why they have trouble putting in boundaries, because they just settle for what they can get, because they think, wow, I've got something and I'm finally someone's picking me, so it doesn't matter how shit it is, at least they're picking me.
Yeah, and you combine that with they're going to be love bombing you and they're going to
Yeah.
be doing this cycle of devaluation, love bombing, and so they're just pulling you into that even more. And it's
Yeah.
like it's intoxicating. And that's when the brain chemistry starts to change.
It's addictive. And I, as an ADHD person, I have an addictive personality. So it's all there. My personality from trauma is quite addictive, but from ADHD I get addicted to the dopamine and things, so it's a recipe for disaster for me.
Yeah, I would agree with someone being diagnosed on the spectrum, the autism spectrum. I feel like I have a hard time. Well, I had a really hard time creating boundaries because it was hard for me to say no to people, and I was such a people pleaser
Mm. Yeah.
that, I just, and no, like, I didn't want to be around eggshells. Like, I was very careful, really not to say a word. I was so quiet,
Yeah.
just, you know, um, and it's so funny that my autism diagnosis was later in life. So I got diagnosed in 2021,
Okay.
and it is incredible um how do I
It
say
makes sense.
it does. It makes so much sense, and you're just like, I
Oh my
accept
god, I know.
myself. Yes, it's so much easier to like accept yourself and like move
There's
forward.
a reason why I done all of the things that I did.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm a little bit pissed off that I didn't know sooner, because my life would have been completely different. But I'm also really grateful that I do know, and I feel very validated. But it is a lot of grief and relief at the same time when you get diagnosed.
Yeah, it is. So, yeah, right before I got diagnosed, when it was suspected, I was like so sad and like very angry and like,
Yeah.
how could this even be? Like, there's no fucking way,
Yeah.
like I was infuriated at the fact that that could even be a possibility. And then getting the diagnosis was like, well, shit, I guess this is okay.
Yeah.
And then I started reading more about it and understanding it. And I was like, okay, well, this makes so much more sense. And it makes
Yeah.
me feel better about myself.
See, what made you go for the autism like diagnosis? What had happened to like make you think, okay, I might be autistic, or what made you sent you down that path?
So when I was doing the cognitive behavioral therapy for the FND treatment,
Hmm.
I, uh, my counselor actually, we were talking about it. There was a video that came up, I think like on TikTok or something, and it was a, it was a woman in like her 30s that had been diagnosed on the spectrum, very high functioning, and she was saying some things, and I was like, that's weird. That's very weird. And I put it aside. I literally put it aside for a full year because I just got the functional neurological disorder diagnosis and I was so overwhelmed with that I was like, there's no fucking way that I'm going to go into that and even dig it, right?
Yeah.
So that was like kind of shelved in the back of my mind for a good year. And then it came up during a counseling session, and my counselor, she actually had a cousin that was in one of the facilities that actually like goes through the full like screening diagnosis, like a half day whatever
Yeah.
it was. And um so she got me in, and it was like 4 months or something like that. I had to wait, um and so anyway, that's kind of how it started. I But talking more with my therapist, I was like, I don't know, this might be something. And she said, yeah, I think that might be something too. So let's get it, checked out. And
When you were growing up, did you feel different, inherently different to everybody around you? You know, I felt at times I thought, I don't know if you remember Sabrina the Teenage Witch. You're American. Do you remember
Yes.
Sabrina? So I thought I had magical powers because I had pattern recognition, really good pattern recognition. I didn't know obviously I was autistic at the time. I thought, man, I can sense the future. Now I know it's just really good pattern recognition, and
Right.
that's because I'm autistic, but I thought at times I'm a witch. I thought like loads of random stuff. So did you ever feel like I'm a little bit different to everyone else?
I always knew I was very, very different. I was really bullied.
Yeah, me
I
too.
always like, it's funny because I don't know, my mom had a lot of control over what I wore. So my mom would pick my clothes until I was old enough. I had a job and bought my own clothes.
Yeah.
Um, and so even my haircuts, like, oh my gosh, I was just a oddball.
You was just like the perfect victim for people to bully.
Yeah, I think I was, and I went
Yeah.
to really small schools growing up. I went to 12 schools, so I was always the new kid. Like,
Yeah.
I was a pretty easy target, but I
Yeah.
was very good at sports. Like, that was something I always was like so excited and really prided myself on. And I think people recognize that about me.
Yeah.
And that was probably the only thing that people were really like, yeah, Virginia
She
can like
Virginia
kick
can
a ball.
run. Yeah.
We want her on our team, maybe.
She's very weird, but she's really good with a ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Virginia, I'm in the same place. I mean, I'm not good with a ball. I don't even know what I'm good with. But yes, I was exactly the same experience at school, exactly the same. So I completely relate to that. I had so many questions to ask you, but it can go in like so many different directions because I was going to ask you about your diagnosis. I was going to ask you about relationships. I was also quite fascinated with the fact that you're like an investigator, because I love that kind of thing. So, what do you think? What can I get the best out of you in this interview? What can I, or in this conversation, not interview? What should we talk about? Neurodivergence and narcissism, or what is your expertise? What do you think would be beneficial to people?
I think that I love this neurodivergent topic on.
Crossover.
Yes, I really do. Um, and I wonder like if there's statistics um on neurodivergence and neurotypical, if there's more patterns of someone more likely to be in an abusive or a narcissistic type relationship.
Yeah, I think I'm the statistic.
Yeah.
I am living proof of the statistic. But No, I think there is because I've been looking into it so much because I was like, for years, I've been like meeting people that have been involved, like not been involved with domestic violence, but been victims of domestic violence and narcissism. And the big pattern that I keep realizing is, my God, they seem autistic. Like they seem like me, and I've noticed a big like correlation that a lot of people that have been involved in relationships like that are on the spectrum. So I was like, shit, there is a correlation and it's something that needs to be looked into. And I've been looking into it so much lately. And I do think that our self worth and our confidence and our boundaries make us ripe for the picking for these for these like narcissistic people. I feel like we are exactly what they need because we are people pleasers. We are happy to please. We have low self worth. So they're like, as soon as they see a neurodivergent people, that's exactly what they would pick from the menu because we are so malleable.
Do you think that it also has a lot to do with how what you think is normal, like growing up, like those things? So,
I guess so. So my dad is a great person, right? But he's autistic. He's very, very old fashioned. He goes to work, he makes the money. My mum does the kids, and and he doesn't have, he's from the old school, yeah. But he's autistic. So when I was growing up, I thought I need to find a man that makes money. I need to stay home. I need to do this. So that I was so used to that routine, that rigidity in my head that I couldn't differ from it because I thought that's normal. You don't grow up and want something different to what your parents want. So therefore, I have to recreate exactly what I've seen. And I think that that was harmful to me because I didn't want to differentiate from what I thought was normal.
yeah.
What about your growing up? Was your parents, obviously I say my dad's autistic, he's only found out recently, he's nearly 80, autism wasn't a thing in them days, but it was very plainly obvious from when I was a child which one of my parents were neurodivergent. Do you think that your growing up had an effect on you?
I do. I do. I think that it's a mix between my upbringing and being neurodivergent because there's like crossovers too, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
100%. And I've got something traumatic that happened in my childhood as well. So it all kind of crosses over from like my childhood, neurodivergence, and that traumatic event, and it all comes into one big hyperball.
yes. Yeah, I
I can't
agree.
tell what springs from where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think it's hard to kind of untangle that one.
Yeah.
But I do think that neurodivergents are more susceptible, vulnerable. Let me say that, more vulnerable. Um, being that, well, a lot of us are very gullible.
Yeah.
That is, uh,
Is it because we want to? But I think it's. See, I'm not. The thing is, I'm not stupid, and I would happily say if I was stupid, I would happily say. The thing is, I don't think I'm stupid. I think it's with me is I just always want to see so much good in people, and I always think no, someone wouldn't be so horrible to someone. So yeah, so I can't believe what I see with my eyes. I think I must be mistaken. So I think it's not so much gullible. I think it's because I don't think I don't know what it is.
for me, I think it is somewhat gullible because I'll take, like, if you tell me something, I'll
Yeah.
believe you. Like, because that's how, like, I'll say something and I mean it. Like,
So
so you tell
you
me
believe that
something.
everyone's got the same morals and the same heart as you. So therefore, if someone tells you something, it must be gospel.
Yes, yeah,
Same.
so I'm
Yeah, I
like,
get
"Oh,
that.
okay," and they're like, "Oh, I'm just kidding," and I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I okay."
Yeah, I get that because I get that. That's exactly what I meant by it. I think everyone's got the same morals and the same heart as me, so I believe like, oh yeah, they must be telling the truth. So I
Right,
think yes, we are more gullible, definitely.
in that way, yeah, yeah, and not yeah, not like, and that's the thing, like, I was a former private investigator, so, there I was able to use my neurodivergent skills, like, to recognize patterns and
Like your
observations.
Sabrina the teenage witch pattern
Yeah,
recognition. Yeah. I still sometimes think that I am. I just have this feeling that one day I'm going to be revealed like I have magical powers. But I now realise that it is just a neurodivergence. But I'm not the first person that I've met. I've met a lot of neurodivergent people recently that say they thought they could predict the future and lots of different things. And it's because of our pattern recognition. So, and my thing in life is true crime. That's why I was so fascinated when I saw that you were like a private investigator, because I kind of like all of that stuff, but I can understand why you would be good at it, because the pattern recognition and the passion and the compassion, like that's straight up your street.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun when I was doing it.
Yeah.
I did. I did. I had a lot of fun. I did yeah, I won't get so much into that, but it helps me now
Yeah.
as far as uh like so I do a dating coaching, and with that I have like a profile to partner is my
Yeah.
program that I do, and so we go through um we'll fix up your dating profile, and then it includes a couple dating coaching sessions. So when you were new out of this, toxic relationships, and we're already starting to work on changing patterns, that's like where I
Yeah.
kind of come in. And then we go over, what are we looking for as far as like catfishing. And so I educate my clients on, you know, what to look for, red flags on, websites or people contacting them, dating sites.
'Cause some people don't know. Some people don't know the red flags. Or the thing is with me, I do know the red flags. So I know what a red flag is, and I know exactly when someone shows me it. But I don't give a fuck. I'm like, I'll hold your red flags for you. Don't worry. Go ahead. Like, I will look after them for you and I will fix them. Do you know what I mean? So I can see the red flags, but I still go ahead with it anyway. So this is a really good idea to have a coach. Do you find a lot of the people that are coming to you, are they neurodivergent, or they don't specify, or who needs help with this, or does everyone need help with this?
I don't know. I really haven't been specific with that. Um,
There's not a pattern that you've
it's
noticed.
not nothing that I've noticed so far, but I will let you know when I
Yeah,
do, if I do, because
it's really
now we're
interesting.
on to something.
Yeah. Maybe we need to make a one for specifically neurodivergent people. But because
Yes.
a lot of people ask me about like dating, can you make a dating platform for neurodivergent people? But I just feel like with neurodivergent people, there can be a whole lot more vulnerability. And it's just, and we're all at such different parts of the spectrum. I don't think it's possible to just be, to make a neurodivergent platform. um but it's really interesting. So do you don't set the people up with dates, you just polish their profile, right?
I polish their profile, and then I educate them on dating and online dating. So
But you can't find them, so it's not like the mans bring their CV to you,
no,
or
no.
whatever sex you're attracted to, so you don't pair them together.
Nope, I do not do matchmaking. No.
Oh, I would love that. Although I wouldn't love that because I don't even like anyone breathing near me. So I never want a relationship again. Do you think after a narcissistic relationship or a shitty relationship, how long should you wait? Because I've got a lot of friends that have been through abusive relationships and then they come straight out and they have to meet someone straight again. And hindsight is a great thing. And I sit down with them and I say, no, you've got to be by yourself for a long time and work on yourself. Is there amount of time, when people come to you with these, their dating CVs or etc., and they say, I've just come out of heartbreak or I've just been in a narcissistic relationship, do you give them a timescale of how long they should be waiting? Is there, what should we be doing after a narcissistic relationship? Should we say, okay, I'm never going to date again? Should we say, okay, I'm going to go and work on myself? Should we prevent going into another relationship straight away? What's the best thing?
That's a really good question. And I think everyone's a little bit different. I don't think that there's
Yeah.
a specific time. But I do 100% think that you need alone time, exactly what you're saying. Work on yourself and figure out what what about that relationship went wrong. And
Yeah.
we're not talking about what did they do wrong. What did they do? what did you do? Like, take some
What
accountability.
yeah, why did you put up with it even?
Yes. Why did
Yeah,
you put up with it? Why did you ignore it? Why did
yeah.
you allow it to happen? And
Yeah,
then
because normally, like, it should be one and then you're gone. But
yeah.
I find with people in narcissistic relationships, like we take so much because we're still in the relationship.
Yeah.
Mostly, a lot of women would see that red flag and be like, "See you later." But but we've obviously stayed in the relationship, so I get that completely.
Yeah. And it is, I mean, it's hard to say when because you're never really ready. I mean, people who are the ones that jump from relationship to relationship, that's their pattern.
Yeah.
So,
See, I used to have that pattern, but now it's completely. I don't know if I'd done so much work on myself, but I had that pattern for years, like
yeah.
20 years. And I just go from serious relationship to serious relationship. And then but the last couple of years ago, when I'd done some work on myself, I couldn't think of anything worse than ever having a relationship again. Like, I really think I'm so happy by myself. But I see a lot of my friends recreating the same pattern. And I think the difference is now I've got three adult sons and I've got a daughter, and I think having a daughter, I mean, I love all my kids equally, but I think having the daughter made me think I'll be damned if I'll see her recreate the same pattern again. Like,
Mm.
what are we teaching our kids to keep them away from a narcissistic relationship? I just try and fill her with confidence so that she has the confidence to set boundaries, and she has the confidence to not recreate the unhealthy habits that she's seen. What can we do to stop our children getting into these narcissistic relationships?
Oh my God, I'm so glad that you brought that up. I also have an adult child, and
Yeah.
I realized, during my healing that, well, I brought those same patterns into mine
Me
and my
too.
son's relationship.
So with the older children, they've seen that their whole life. With my daughter, she just missed that. I just changed at the
Nice.
right time.
Oh,
But my
good.
other children, I am ridden with guilt. Like 4:32 a.m. I wake up and think, oh my God, why did I just carry on that pattern? And they saw it.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with that.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's so hard, especially when they're already adults and you realize it when they're adults and they already are carrying the same patterns or different
Yeah.
patterns, but they're still toxic patterns.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
oh,
it's
life goes
heartbreaking
too fast. Life
because
goes too fast.
yeah, so
I
I
always say to my friends, your children grow up so fast, so please learn from my lessons.
yeah, really. So no, I understand the guilt that goes with that, and it's feels like your fault.
Yeah.
You carry all that, uh, and so yeah, I think that's a really great topic. That should be a whole topic.
A whole topic in itself. What can we do you think, though? What patterns do you notice with people that go for narcissistic people or people that seem to get in this same pattern? What is their weakness? What can take away from my daughter to make her not fodder for that person?
I think that really teaching our kids healthy boundaries,
I
how
think,
to
yeah,
stick
me
with
too.
them, recognizing red flags and leaving when we see those, completely blocking, like not giving them a chance. But still understand that, and have compassion for those people at the same time because
But know that that's not okay for them, and they're gonna bow out after the first date.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, if we teach our kids and, we're modeling the same examples that we would want received, then I think that's very helpful just in its own. And then, I mean, honestly, like family counseling is probably a good idea if you've gone like I would love to do that with my adult son, if
Do you
it's
think it's ever too late? Because I thought about this recently, and I thought, they're in their 20s now. I've got one of 21, one of 22, one of 19. Is it too late, or is it never too late?
I don't I don't think so. I hope not. I mean, I still
Yeah.
have hope.
Yeah, I
And
hope so.
yeah, and my son's like 24 now, so
Yeah.
he's a little bit older. And I mean, who knows what our relationship will look like, in the future, but that's something that I would love to work on next is
Yeah, that
I
that's
did so
mine as
much work.
well.
Yeah, I did so
I
much work
think
on myself and now
I'm
I'm
fixed now and I'm in the right place for it. Before, I've never been in the right place. I've always been a mother, I've always loved them, but I didn't love myself. But now I am in the right place, so I can fix everything else now. So I think that now would be the best time.
yeah, I agree for myself as well. And I'm happy for you. That's really, really awesome.
It's took a long bloody time, but
No
but,
shit, man. It's
but
a
it's
lot.
here. Do you think people that have been in narcissistic relationships ever are just put off relationships and then they decide not to have them again?
I feel so sad for that. So I always had this saying that I refuse to let my past relationships define my future ones.
Yeah.
And that really stuck with me because if I'm going to let someone that was so toxic and so wrong for me dictate how happy my future is or who I'm with and like that would be doing a disservice to myself. And then
Yeah,
I'm relinquishing my power at that point. So and that's the thing. I enjoy being alone. I
me too.
am at this point I I would like to eventually be in a relationship again.
You heard it here first.
I just did.
Send
I
me
know
in your
well,
DMs.
I just broke up with someone. We were dating for a few months and we just broke up a couple weeks ago and
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, I'm not dating, I'm
not
not
ready for
looking
it.
or, anything like that. But
Yeah,
eventually again.
yeah, you'll get back on the horse.
Well, yeah, yeah. I just gotta give some time to reflect on that and
I
uh
think that's such a healthy thing because I think before I would have jumped straight into, when they say get under someone to get over someone,
yeah.
like not literally, because I'm very like funny with stuff like that, but I would have wanted to fall in love with someone straight away just to get that person out of my mind. But now I think a healthy pattern is to go away, work on yourself, reflect on what you've learned, and then come back to it. And I think that's when you know that you've done the work and that you've grown up, that you know that in every blessing is a lesson, or every lesson is a blessing.
Oh, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Yes,
You
I
know,
totally agree.
I think there's so much. I've had the most horrific things happen, but I think, you know what, if these things didn't happen, I wouldn't have my children, I wouldn't have this, I wouldn't have that. So in every lesson has been a blessing. We just have to wait till the lesson comes to fruition. And sometimes it takes 30 years, but you just have to hang in there. There's another question I have actually that I just thought that you might be able to answer. So, I know a lot of people that have been in narcissistic relationships, and they always say to me, but what if he meets someone else and he's really good with them? Or what if she meets someone else and she isn't a narcissist with them? Do you think that it is sometimes just two people together? Or do you think if you're a narcissist, you will always be a narcissist no matter whoever you're with?
Ooh, I know exactly what you're saying. So,
Thank you.
yeah, so I do think that certain people together pull very toxic traits out of each other.
Yeah,
I can't say exactly what you said, but I can say
yeah,
that with the wrong mix of chemistry and you are just like at each other. I mean, you
yeah,
will pull out the most toxic shit
yeah.
out of each other. And that is when that is not like your nervous system is going to be on like out of the roof.
It absolutely. Do you know what? You don't realize how much this shit fucks your nervous system
No.
so much. It has such a bang on effects on your body. Like, I've had 4 relationships. All of them have been long, like over 5-year relationships, serious relationships. I don't go half serious. For some reason, I just go in and like get married and stuff like that. And each one of them has been really, really awful. And on good and bad on both sides. Not me necessarily bad, but bad where I've just allowed stuff to happen and I've tried to be controlling so I could control them, so I could help them. It was just a lot of toxicity. Um, And I think I lost my train of thought.
And so it really messes you up after the fact. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So in later life, now I'm fixing myself. I have multiple sclerosis. Apparently, I could have, who knows? I have tremors. My nervous system it's a lot better than it was. But a couple of years ago, my nervous system is shot to bits. And I feel like nervous system is a real buzzword now. We're becoming very aware of our nervous systems and our cortisol levels.
Mhm.
We were never aware of that shit. It was just like, oh, I feel down, or I feel run down. Now we know it's our nervous system, and this person's fucked our nervous system entirely. I think we don't realize how much of a bang on effect that it has on our body.
Oh, it's incredible. Like
Yeah.
it is incredible how much your body takes from relationships and stress and all the crazy stuff.
It
Yeah.
has such a bang on effect, and I see so many women and and men that have so kind of been in such shitty relationships, and now they all of a sudden have a autoimmune disease or something. It just seems to be such a pattern where their nervous system just, yeah.
Yeah. Have you noticed anything with your memory?
Yeah, my net memory is absolutely fucked. So
Okay.
I can remember what you was wearing like 25 years ago. If I knew you 25 years ago, I can remember something as stupid as what color socks you were wearing. But if you ask me, how much did your child weigh when your child was born? I have no idea. Not because I'm a bad mother, like I really remember details, but I remember stupid details. Like my memory is complete gaps in it. My memory is completely fucked.
Mhm.
And I don't know sometimes whether that's childhood trauma, whether that's neurodivergence, or whether that's, narcissistic relationship, whether it could be any of them things. But my relationship is not my relationship, my memory is so bad.
Yeah. And that's something I noticed once, well, I guess the last year or so in my marriage. I've noticed my memory was really bad. And then after I left, I felt like it got even worse.
Yeah, I think maybe it's your nervous system being like, thank fuck. And your nervous system's just breathing. But apparently, like, after you leave a relationship, all of the bad stuff starts happening. Like, your skin gets bad, your memory gets bad. Like, your nervous system just went like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It does a number on you. And I mean, you just gotta keep going and eventually it does get better. I do feel that. I mean, I feel like I'm walking proof of it.
Yeah, I
And
do feel like it gets better, but I do think there is some lasting I would almost go so far as say brain damage. There is something lasting in my brain from it. There is something that is inherently changed in me, um, that I can't get back.
I would 100% agree with myself as well. Like my brain
Yeah.
just changed. The chemistry, it absolutely changed. And it's
Yeah.
scientifically proven like that narcissistic abuse does chemically change your brain.
I feel like a lot of people say lately about narcissistic abuse, and a lot of people ask me. So I've had quite extreme like situations of narcissistic abuse. Like I would have like my ex-partner would have hid things and told me I lost them, and I'd go crazy like looking for something, and they would have hid it from me and they would have known where it was. Like I've had people really, really fuck with my brain. Does it always have to be that serious to be in narcissistic abuse, or what can smaller signs be?
So I mean, I feel like the biggest difference between abuse and narcissistic abuse is malicious. It's
Yeah.
manipulative and it's like meant to,
Make you go insane.
yeah, it's like purposely designed that way.
Yeah.
As to abuse, um, it's it's not any less damaging or more damaging. It's they're equally damaging. They're all not
And
great at all.
it's probably most damaging to your nervous system. I think now that you say it, it's the thing that gets most affected is your nervous system gets so affected from narcissistic abuse. So that damage isn't done to your body, it's done in your nervous system and in your mind.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
just felt like I felt like I was going crazy all the time. I felt like I was on drugs. Like if someone would have said to me, that's black, I would have believed it because I didn't trust anything that I ever thought. And I used to say to people, am I crazy? Am I crazy? And I read something actually that you wrote earlier, and you wrote, if you're having to write things down, then it's not you that's got I'm sure it was you that wrote it. I think I put it on my Facebook
Yeah.
when I was talking about you earlier, and I thought, hell fucking yes. That is, if you're asking people all the time, am I crazy? Am I imagining this? I used to say to people, am I imagining this? Am I imagining this? There's something not right if that's what you're saying.
Yeah, if you're constantly on alert and being hyper vigilant and questioning, I mean, that's not normal. And
Yeah.
I went through that as well. I know exactly what you're talking about. You
Yeah.
just can't trust yourself or
Yeah.
anyone around you. If you can't trust
Yeah.
yourself, you can't trust anyone.
It's completely true.
It's so sad. It's so hard to get out of that pattern. But once you gain that self-trust and self-worth, like that is game changer.
I think that's why I pump my daughter with so much confidence. I'm just like, no, I think when I grew up, I was underconfident and, I was bullied at school and I had no self worth. And I think I pump her with confidence because I'm like, yes, fuck that. Is she gonna like be with someone or settle for someone that makes her feel like shit just because she's taking the crumbs from the table? I just feel like confidence would really help. So I think once you work on yourself, it definitely helps. Do you think that a narcissist can ever not be a narcissist? So, if someone comes to me and says, I'm in a relationship with a narcissistic woman or man, and I say, okay, you must leave him, and they say, yeah, but he's going to get help and work on himself, can it change?
I think that's a loaded question.
Yeah. No,
You know, I
that's a
also,
no.
well, real quick, I want to touch on that we need to remember that narcissism is a spectrum, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So people, can have low narcissistic tendencies, and that's actually healthy,
Yeah.
right? So a bit of low narcissistic tendencies, that's actually pretty healthy,
Is
to
that
succeed.
self-preservation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
get that.
and then you go more narcissist, you get more into that spectrum. The extreme would be diagnosed narcissistic personality disorder, and that rarely happens, right?
Yeah.
Because
Does
you
anyone really go to the therapist and say, hey, I'm a narcissist, and go through that? That surely not many people have that diagnosis.
exactly, right. So, yeah, I think it's like 4 to 6% or something crazy, like really,
Yeah.
really low. And so that being said, there's a huge spectrum, right? And
Yeah.
so someone could fall somewhere in the middle of that spectrum and just have really toxic patterns, and then they realize, okay, this is something that I need to work on. This is no longer serving me. they
Yeah.
could they could actually work on themselves. I do believe that. I absolutely believe people with narcissistic tendencies can work on themselves.
Yeah.
But I do not think very like the very high narcissistic tendencies, I don't think want
It's
to
like
change.
when you've met one narcissistic person, just like autistic people, you've met one do you know what I mean? It's all narcissists are different on different parts of the spectrum, just like all autistic people. I meet autistic people all the time and I think, Jesus, we're completely different. But I
Right.
meet autistic people all the time that I think, we vibe, we're on the same sort of part of the spectrum. So kind of when you meet one narcissistic person, you can't paint everyone with the same brush. Every narcissist is different.
Yeah, I absolutely would say that. And it's going to be different in different settings. You're always going to run into those people in a workplace, in, your friend groups. There's, romantic relationships, whatever. And
Yeah.
it's hard obviously to avoid, but I do think that if you're in a relationship with someone that is showing that, and you believe that they have high narcissistic personality traits, I would take them for exactly what they're showing you.
Yeah.
I would never bank on anyone changing
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
So, unless you've been married for a really long time and you're trying to save something that's, you
That
know,
was once actually really good. Not that
yes,
you imagined it was good or the idea of it was good. It's that was actually once a functioning relationship.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
functioning and not necessarily healthy. I like how you said that.
Yeah.
So,
Functioning.
yeah, and then has the potential to be a healthy relationship. I do
Yeah.
think that. So, that was a good
Perfect.
question.
So you think, is there anything, we're down to the last little bit now. Do you think there's anything that you would like to share that you think people need to hear, or anything that I haven't asked you?
Um, no, I think we had a really great conversation. I really
I think
enjoyed
me and
this.
you are on the same part of the spectrum.
Yes, I think that we're right about the same.
That's what I know as well. For anyone that's listening that realised today that they might be in a bit of a toxic relationship, what's the first thing that we should tell them?
So I think it's always a good idea to go to therapy or counseling
Yeah.
and get like a real professional opinion.
Yeah.
Um, and I do have some tools on my website, breakthepatterns.net. That
That was my next question. I was going to say, finally, Virginia, if people have really connected with you and what you shared, what platforms can we find you on? I found you earlier on Facebook, but where can everyone find you? What do you do? Have you got a book? Have you got a website? Tell us.
Yeah, so I actually have my own podcast called um, Red Flags and Real Love,
Yeah.
and I kind of do different
Is
stuff
that on
there.
every platform?
It is. It's on every platform. You can find Red Flags and Real Love.
Yeah.
My website is breakthepatterns.net. And then Instagram and Facebook, official Virginia McConnell. You can find me
Perfect.
there. And I do
What
have,
is your most used platform? What one is your go-to? Because mine is Facebook. That's my go-to. What is the one that you use a lot?
I do Facebook a lot, but I
Yeah.
also you know, cross posts. So I do equally probably, but I enjoy Facebook more because most of my
Yeah.
family and stuff is
I
on
think
there.
it's out. Is it our age? Like Instagram, I would love to get into that more, but I cross post on it, but it's just not. It doesn't come as naturally to me as Facebook does. I think it may be like my age bracket is just like Facebook is my domain.
It's so funny. I've heard that so many times.
I think that might be what it is. So we can find you on your website. Does your website have links to your podcast?
Yeah, yeah. You can go to my podcast on the navigation menu and you can find it from there. And then I'm also coming out with a couple books. So this is
Nice.
new. I haven't really told anyone about this.
Nice.
Mm, And it's been by request. I've had quite a few people ask me or suggest if I was going to write a book or I should probably write a
What's
book.
the kind
And
of genre? It's not going to be fiction. Is it going to be based on your experiences or other people's experiences or
so the first book is basically shares quite a bit into my childhood, and
yeah,
then it kind of shares how just my story in general.
yeah,
And then I go into the patterns and recognizing the patterns, why we're, you know, dating the same people, having the same relationships that are just toxic. And so recognizing those things, and
yeah.
it's a great book for for recognizing if you're in a narcissistic
That's what I was going to ask.
or
Would it
toxic
still be something
relationship.
that you read once you've left that?
So
Because it
that's what book exactly, that's what the book 1 and 2 is. So the book 1 is just to kind of understand if you're in one, if
yeah,
you're actively, and to kind of cope through with that at that stage. And then book
yeah.
2 is now we've recognized it. So now we're moving forward into healthy patterns. And this is what we do. So I have a lot of
And is
worksheets
there a
and
book 3?
books. What was that?
Is there going to be a book three?
I don't know yet. I'm,
I
I'm,
think I'm book three. You need to
yeah.
you need to bring out a book three for me. You know, I don't want to date again. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll become a lesbian. You know, like book three. The
Book three.
possibilities are endless. Well, I'm 40 and I found myself book three. I think, yeah, maybe base it on me. And I,
I love it.
but, yes, do a book three. That, yeah, that would be so good. But is it out yet? Have you wrote it? What stage are you at with these books?
So I am in the process of writing right now, and I'm
Yeah.
hoping the next month or so, my first release will be out.
And where can we find that? On Amazon or your website or?
I'm thinking Barnes and Nobles. I already have
Okay,
one
I
child.
hear this from all American people. We don't have a Barnes and Nobles.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
Amazon.
we can order and they can deliver to us, I guess. But
Okay, yeah, then I'll do it on Amazon as well. That was high on my list. Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
yeah, it always springs to my mind. My go-to that I always ask about is Amazon. Can I ask you one question on a personal level, actually? You said that you wrote about your childhood in your books, yeah? So I have a podcast and I've started to touch upon my childhood. But and especially in my subscribers one because it's a little bit more personal. Do you think it's ever just your story to tell? Do you think, when you came to telling your story about your childhood and stuff, is that easy, or do you think, like, you know is it okay to talk about our childhood when it involves other people? Have you found that an easy transition to make, or have you had to sit down and say to your parents, look, I'm gonna talk about my childhood, and is that okay? Is your childhood ever just your story to tell?
So I do not have contact with my mom,
Uh-huh.
and my father has passed.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
So this is really my story.
Yeah.
Um, and I have had a struggle because like I want to be very clear. Like, I love my parents so much. I love my
Yeah.
mom so much, and I respect her, and I love her from a distance.
Yeah, because
And
that's the best place sometimes. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so I just wrote those very carefully. The
Yeah.
only so it's only one chapter that actually
Yeah.
talks about my childhood, and it goes into my memories.
Yeah.
And it's really the my my memory is so bad and so spotty with childhood
That's,
memories. I
yeah,
can't
mine
remember.
too.
Yeah, I
It's like
can't.
a dreamlike state, mine. It's
What was
like, was that a dream or was that real? It's quite dreamlike, my
Yes,
memory. Yeah.
yes. And the
Apparently that means you've had a bad childhood.
crazy.
Apparently. Sorry to break it to you, but apparently that's a really bad sign.
Well, yeah. So I'm making the best of it, get
Yeah.
um
You're doing
it
well. Did you
on
hear the
paper.
intro of yourself? The intro's good. If all that shit had to happen for me to make that intro about you, you are on the right path. Honestly, Virginia, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been such an insightful conversation, and I think so many people listening will recognize parts of it, laugh at it, cry at it, maybe. It's not been the most, even though it's been such a serious conversation, it's still it hasn't been too, like, heavy. And guys, if you want to learn more about Virginia's work or take one of her free relationship quizzes or explore her coaching and courses, you can visit breakthepattern.net. And you also offer free live classes every Monday. Is that true, Virginia?
I do at 7:30 Eastern time. I
Okay.
do
How
my
can we how can we access that website again?
Yeah, you can actually just go to breakthepatterns.net, and you can go to courses, and it'll be sign up for the Monday class. Super
And is
easy.
everyone eligible for that? Man, woman, non-binary, can everybody join that?
Yep, yep. And that particular my Monday class goes over the very first session of the Break the Patterns course.
Yeah. Honestly, thank you. I've really enjoyed this. I hope that you got something from it. I hope it wasn't awful for you, or I'm going to get RSD. Um, I'm going to be honest. If you don't review me in the next 4 minutes, I'm probably going to cry. No, I'm joking. That was so when I first joined Podmatch, when people wouldn't review me for a week, I would think, shit, the autism, the RSD, I'd be like, oh my God, what did I say? And what did I do? So I hope it went okay. And honestly, thank you so much. I would love to have you again. I could talk to you for hours. I've definitely met my spectrum friend. But thank you. I will put all your links, and it was a beautiful experience. So thank you very much, Virginia.
Oh, thank you so much, Ellie. I had an amazing time talking with
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Bye.